simulcaster action going on. We'll see if my voice survives it. But we're back to one of the final series of IEM Katowice, the biggest tournament outside of BlizzCon. We have in the bottom right the BlizzCon champion fighting for another championship. This is the semi-finals. It's Rogue. And in the top left, the YOLO Terran, the master of micro, starting his professional StarCraft career at the young age of 13, and now 8, well, maybe 7 years, I'm not sure exactly if it was 2010 or 2011, but now years later, competing in the semifinals of one of the biggest tournaments in StarCraft 2 history. It is one of my favorite Terrans. It is Maru. And we're starting on Acid Plant. Terran versus Zerg. What most players and spectators and grandmas agree is the most entertaining match. Terran versus Zerg. The legendary fight between the Zerg trying to encroach and get past and overwhelm, and the Terrans trying to fight them off or take it to the Zerg early on. Of course, not every game works like that in practice, but it's been in all those cinematics and that. Getting to the game. Let's talk about TVZ a little bit. Not specifically these players, but TVZ. Right now, Terran versus Zerg is in an interesting state, which is obviously the most entertaining way, but there's a little bit of a split in Zerg players, or the styles, on both sides, really. As Zerg, we've seen more Zerg players trying to put early aggression on the Terrans, because Terrans have been getting kind of greedy, getting a third command center early, relying on Hellions and maybe like a single Banshee to defend. Roach timings and Ravager timings are potent, depending especially on how greedy Maru gets, whereas at the same time, Terran players, there's a variety of early pressure builds. Mech and Bio both see pretty common use. I'd say Bio is a little more common, but Mech definitely isn't off the table. So right now, I think TVZ is in a really interesting spot. It doesn't really seem to favor. It seems to favor the better player, and in a best of 5 series,
just as I do.
best of 5 series, it really does come down to what build you decide on, who gets momentum. If 1 or 2 times someone gets caught off guard, well, then that's the series right there. Alright. Maru opting for what looks to be reactored Hellions, but he snuck a second barracks at the back.
Add-on complete.
Rogue is going for the Overlord speed. And now, this is something we've actually seen Zerg players kind of skip lately, the Overlord speed. It's been something that Terran players have taken advantage of. They just, well, for example, Maru's getting a second Rex and already going for the 2-1-1, which, if Rogue didn't have Overlord speed to scout it, which I assume he will in a moment, could catch him off guard. Of course, the factory timing and the starport timing kind of give this away, but good on him for playing it safe, especially in Game 1. Now, another thing to point out, Rogue with a later third. He waited until his Zergling speed was finishing up to go for it. Of course, going for Overlord speed and multiple Queens early on means he didn't quite have the money to invest. This was a stylistic choice. A lot of the times we see Zerg players with a pre-2-minute third base, whereas right now Rogue is really focused on safety, even to the point of getting +1 Carapace before lair tech. I wouldn't be surprised to see, actually, probably not a Baneling Nest. Because if he's going for the +1 Carapace, he's going to be reliant on Queens and Lings. Believe me, right now, Rogue knows what this is. He knows that Medivacs and Stim Marines are the threat. So he's choosing to deal with this in this way. That was a great sentence. That was an incredible sentence. But the Medivacs are boosted out. There isn't an Overlord in position to scout them, but there are Overlords spread throughout the map, and just the lack of a Viking is another part of this build, and that's why it's kind of seen a little bit of a reduction in popularity. The 2-1-1 has been kind of figured out. Now Maru is just shooting across, but he goes past an Overlord. He probably saw that. And with 5 queens, plenty of Zerglings, more Zerglings on the way. He's going straight for the main, but he's going to get nothing for his trouble. There's no way he can drop out here. So, a point to Rogue, I would say, to start, because he's gotten his creep spread out. He shut down the double drop before it really started. A scan or two is going to come out, of course. But Rogue has his third base up safely. He's pretty much stopped these 2 medevacs from doing any damage as long as he keeps doing the run around with the Zerglings. Another drop coming to follow it up. And Maru, he has a third base on the way. He's going for the double upgrade, so the one thing that's going to be lacking here from Maru is production. Just a large amount of barracks to follow this up and do a push. If you go for the third base and the double upgrades, you simply don't have that much production. So he's relying on the pressure put on by these 3 medevacs. But Rogue isn't having it. He's just throwing it away right now. Or pushing it back. Throwing it away kind of has a different connotation. Maru doing what he can, but the creep spread going unchecked on the left side of the map. Rogue handling himself very well. Very comfortably right now. But one boost into the main catches him a little off guard. All the Marines will be able to unload. The Spore Crawler picks up one of these medevacs, but suddenly, as soon as those Marines are fully unloaded, this gets really dangerous. The Widowmine hit, nicely split. Banelings connect. Alright, so Maru was kind of desperate to get damage done. He cuts in, gets a little bit, but still not really what he was looking for. The additional production is now coming online. He's got going from 2 to 5 racks, but it hasn't quite kicked in yet. The armory is completing for 2-2, but Rogue is already getting +2 Carapace. His choice will be the Hydralisk Den. The Hydralisk Den indicates, well, there are 2 options. Either he doesn't feel safe against additional attacks, or he wants to go for this mid-game pressure. I think in this point, if he really wanted to, he wouldn't need the Hydralisk Den for defense. He could go Infestation Pit straight up to Hive. But it's kind of a stylistic choice, making sure he has some additional mid-game opportunities. Just throwing the drops back on either side. Great defense out of Rogue so far. Almost impeccable. He's got 63 drones. He's going on 4 bases. Comfortable creep spread. +2 attack. +1 melee. Hydralisks are coming up. Almost uncontested. Maru hasn't started his 2-2. He's going to prove me wrong in a split second. Maru, please. The 2-2. The 2-2 is very important. There we go. He starts it up. He's actually going to trade these Marines out to get a cancel on the 4th base, and that's a pretty big win. As, I would... This break in your regularly scheduled programming brought to you by Comcast. Welcome to Comcast. Fuck you. But Maru gets a cancel on the 4th. Has started his 2-2, but Rogue still holding on pretty comfortably. No creep spread on this left side. Means this attack coming in a little uncontested. The Banelings trying to bait out some of the Widowmine shots will be semi-successful. But there is a big counterattack of Zerglings. The wall is not up. So while this attack might do some damage on the left and even the right sides, Rogue is inside the natural, cutting off the reinforcements and killing SCVs. It's going to be hard to tell how much damage is done overall. The medevac goes down on the right. The Queens are forming essentially a body block to prevent these Marines from doing too much damage. The Zerglings have gotten into the main. It looks like there are enough Marines to stand their ground as well. Rogue is eating some damage on either side, but the Banelings will clean up the Marines. The Zerglings and Queens on the right, but he gets a kill on the hatchery. And once again, Rogue is brought back down to 3 bases. Maru is going for that 2-2. He still has 58 SCVs. I hear a Zergling attacking. Oh my god. But Maru getting damage done on the opposite side. That Zergling run-by was really annoying. It looked really dangerous. It looked like a big deal, but overall, I think Maru got the better end of those trades. Just, he maintained a large SCV count. It didn't really hurt his production, and he stopped Rogue's production. So those little leads that I think Rogue gained early on with his defense, I think they're partially, if not mostly, gone now. Maru has at least evened it up, maybe taken the lead. But he has 2-2 on the way comfortably. He's adding on more production to the production he already has in his main, and he's staring down the barrel of a strong 2-2 timing, and Rogue doesn't have 4th base production to have that overwhelming, unstoppable amount of Zerg units. The drop coming in, smoothly cleaning up the creep. Are there any Hydras on the field? There are no... He did get a Hydralisk done. He's still upgrading Hydras. He hasn't built any yet. Banelings coming in. Maru dodges flawlessly. A scan comes out, sees... Well, the Hive is actually in the main, which isn't always the case, but Maru not going to see it quite yet. Not going to see the Infestation Pit either. A huge Zergling Baneling counterattack is primed. A double drop on the right side. Continually, it's the inexorable battle here. Constantly trying to fight against the creep, whereas Rogue continually trying to push it out. The creep giving that extra vision, giving that extra speed to respond to things. It's a battle. Both sides really need to focus on it. The cancel on the left side, the 5th base is going to fall, but the 4th base is online, and Rogue has 75 drones. Maru, not to be outdone, has 68 SCVs and is going on 4 bases of his own. A supply block comes through, getting the gas geyser. He can target down the spore. He's actually going for the base. Maru going to drop on the Banelings, eat some of them as well. Beautiful micro, going to make sure he can re-drop out and continue to get damage done. Rogue supply blocked again. He's got his Spire on the way. The Ultralisk Cavern as well. Adrenal Glands and +2 melee attack. Zerglings will force him away from the 3rd base. But right now, Rogue is supply blocked and can't use all the 14 larvae he has banked up. And the money he has, well, actually 1,500 gas and 500 minerals does not make too much of an army. I mean, infestors don't hurt. But, oh, there's the scan. Now Maru, he knows he's got to pick up the pace. The Hive is done. The Ultralisk Cavern and the Spire are on the way. Maru, adding on the Ghost Academy, has plenty of tanks. He's going for 3-3, but if he doesn't put pressure on now, he's got to settle into the late game. Beautiful splits, takes out the 3rd. Rogue back down to 3 bases. He just can't seem to keep all 4 online. Burrow is shown here. There are no Baneling mines on the map. Maru is everywhere, and Rogue is keeping him on his toes. Another attack up the front. Rogue is both sides spending all the money they get. Another base sniped by Maru. His neutralizing forces of the double drops all over the place. Rogue down 23 supply. This... I don't know why I gasped. It's an obvious counterattack. It's a lot of stuff, but like it's not all Banelings. But gasp! 4 Liberators, 4 Medevacs. A double drop clearing the way. There is an Overlord to see this. The Ultralisks are popping out, but this is still an incredibly dangerous army. Shooting towards the main. The Unburrow towards the 4th base out of Maru. Those are Adrenalings, and they will take down the Planetary Fortress and everything else on the ground. At the same time, a massive drop out of Maru. The Liberation Zones overlap beautifully. The Queens are trying to come up. He can target down the Ultralisk. The Queens are going to be the casualty. The Spore Crawler's coming up, the only real defense here. He's going to retreat out of the main, join up with the double drop at the 4th. Rogue's counterattack will retreat to deal with this. Maru has lost his 4th, but at the same time, doing a lot of damage on the opposite side. The Ultralisk almost targeted down by the Concord cannons. Not quite enough, but the base going to be dropped immediately. There's even a tank at the back here. Maru continuing to push out. He's got some ghosts moving forward as well. These Liberators and their zoning capacity is incredible. Rogue does have a 4th base at the front. Maru is lifting his main to his previous planetary 4th. Honestly, an orbital command is probably a little bit safer with the way that Rogue is playing. The Lings swing around to the left side. The base is under fire. A single tank won't stop him. A few Marauders won't stop him. A single Ghost won't stop him. Rogue continues to go forward. All the forces are in retreat. Ghosts are falling. The Ultralisk will pull back. But this counterattack has pulled Maru off the map and given Rogue some much-needed breathing room. I needed that breathing room, too. 7 SCVs go down. He's still at 50, which is pretty comfortable. Not great, but comfortable enough. The upgrades 2-2 against 3-3, but Adrenal Glands and Chitinous Plating are done for the Zerglings and the Ultralisks. The Liberator are going to try to deal with this, but more SCVs are going to go down so quickly to those Adrenalings. This coming down here. Only a handful of Ultras could be sniped out. There are plenty of Ghosts at the back. A few good snipes. He's going to micro against the Banelings. Here come the Ultras. The Corruptors dealing with the Liberators, but not particularly quick. Snipes come out. He's going to finish off both Ultralists. There's nothing left on the ground. The base is under fire, and Rogue going to lose another hatchery. I think we're in double digits at this point. The worker count, 49 to 67. Clearing up the creep, but Maru is tearing through the front. He's got plenty of ghosts. All there are Corruptors. Where are the Banelings? Where are the Ultras? More snipes coming out. The Corruptors being shot out of the sky. Maru tearing through on the ground. Takes game number 1 in impressive fashion. You guys gotta calm down. Alright. And that's gonna be game 1 of the best of 5 going Maru's way. Even though Rogue with some solid early defense, it wasn't enough to get him into the mid-game safely. The drops out of Maru were just way too good. Alright, and into game number 2. That was, okay. Nothing happens in the early game. I didn't even look at the APMs at the end. I'm sure Maru was pushing 400 and so was Rogue, but we'll see this game. Neon Violet Square. Is that Maru? Maru has 2 SCVs on the map. And this is going to be a double proxy Rex. The double if you're going fully all in, 4 Rex is your choice, but the double proxy Rex still leaves you an opportunity. Still leaves you an opportunity to transition behind. Because, of course, this isn't all in, but you can put on such pressure that the Zerg player is left in a very uncomfortable spot economically. If this is not, like, if bunkers are not shut down essentially before they start. And I love Maru's placement here. Looks like Rogue just choosing to keep his overload on the high ground, not sending it out to look for proxies. But this does mean if any bunkers come up, he will see it. There's actually a gas behind, so Maru going to go straight for the factory at home. 1 SCV is going to come up at a bit of an awkward timing from maybe an awkward angle here. Rogue probably already suspicious. The bunker's on the way. Will he pull drones? I'm actually, like, I'm trying to learn here. What do you do in this scenario? He knows this is happening. He's not pulling drones. So what's the play here? He cancels the base. Maru gonna just add on another Rex. Rogue is letting it go. Maru's gonna have enough for a factory in a moment. I assume he'll build it at home. Checking for the back base as well. 6 lings on the way, but he got a drone to the gold? I didn't even see where that drone went. It evaded capture. Went behind enemy lines. But the gold base is a bit of a wild card. I don't think Maru expected that. I didn't expect that, but the drone somehow got there. Oh my god, he takes down... Oh! And this is why, for those of you wondering, this is why these rocks exist. Because of things like this. That is why those rocks were added to maps. For 3 pylons, 2 bunkers, 2 wrecks. But Rogue is not out yet. There is still this base. Whatever he does with this is his hope. These can be repaired. There's 1 SCV. I think he can almost... Well, once there are spine crawlers, he can't infinitely repair it, but... Maru's just buying so much space here. Wait. He's gonna see the goal. He will break out eventually. That's a lot of lings here from Rogue. Will he save this hatch? The repair is good. He could come down the ramp to try to hit the SCV. He will. Maru pulling back. Does not get the kill. 4 Marines are working on the hatch. A queen is about to pop out. This is a really awkward situation now, because Rogue has 19 drones, and he has one hatch. It's almost dead. But Maru, it looks like he's going to kill the gold. It does look that way. Some lings pop out, but the Cyclone should turn these tides here. He can maybe kill the Queen. Is that enough Tornado Blasters? Oh, but the legs! The legs! They're on their way out! They're free! The Zerg! He's going straight for the hatch. Rogue! With the save! Deep in the red. 180 HP left, which is, I believe, about 2 seconds of Cyclone damage. So, now where are we? There's still one Marine in this bunker that wasn't cleared out. Everything comes back. But he saved the hatch, and that's so important. The Marine trying to buy time. 2 Hellions come out. He's going to be forced off of this. Cloaked Banshees are on the way. That's still going to force the drone count lower. The gold base, even though Rogue saved the hatch, that's a win, but that's not the game. This is still a rough scenario. He's going to go for the Baneling bust, it looks like. Maru pretty greedily is going to the low ground. I'm not sure he realizes how committed Rogue is to doing damage. Rogue gonna see, he's probably gonna see the Banshee coming out in a second. If the Banshee is on the wrong side of the map when 13 Banelings decide to make a cameo appearance. Well. Oh, he's gonna see it in a moment. Oh, but wait, the wraparound! His own supply depot's making this difficult. The Hellion Micro is good, but is it gonna be enough? He's gonna try to break through into the main. There's some more Hellions where that came from. Hellions being targeted down. Maru might not have enough units. He breaks through both depots. The supply block is real. No more units will be produced until these SCVs start to fall. Still microing on this side, but no, the Hero Ling takes out another Hellion. Trying to hold on. The worker count is dipping. We're even for now. Wait, hold. Maru, remember, he still has 2 orbitals. Repairing the Hellions. Impeccable micro. More Zerglings streaming across the map. A second Banshee gonna complete. There's still 1 in the main. 2 Hellions will be forced to be micro back. More Hellions are on the way. He's on supply block now. A handful of Hellions will be enough to hold. Maru is holding, but is he holding strongly enough? 23 to 21 workers. The Banshees combining. Hellions pop out. Maybe in an inconvenient position. He holds with 1 Hellion. Maru with nothing. The skeleton defense. Just a handful of units trying to micro a single Hellion. The Banshee's doing so much damage. 9 kills. 19 kills. So much being done. The SCVs back and forth, getting whiplash with all the times they're pulled off the line. But Maru holds. 21 to 29 workers. The damage hasn't been done. An incredible hold. Just not being dead. He's gonna pre-cloak these Banshees. I mean, the base is now... He doesn't have vision! Bro can't see it! He can kill! There's no energy! He's gonna kill the gold! It'll be 1 base! Maru comes back to finish what he started. And now Rogue, he might have the worker lead. Well, I take it back. Counterattacks with an impressively cost-effective... Where did that armory come from? Maru's done it. Not only did he hold, the counterattack is deadly. Game ending. The Zerglings aren't going to cut. There are Hellbats on the field now. Maru with some of the most... Well, it's Maru. You shouldn't put anything out of reach. But Maru with some of the most incredible micro to hold on. Not only in the game, but to enough workers while still continually microing back and forth. A handful of Zerglings will come up. He's trying. There's nothing left. He can kill the lair. There is no mining. Rogue has no income. That should dip immediately. GG. Maru on match point with the contain into the insane hold. What? Well, that's pure Maru right there. That's a classic Maru game. But we're shooting right into game number 3. I don't even know if you were rogue what you would do there. Like, that's such a hard scenario once it, because Maru just laid down the bunkers. He's like, this is mine now. I don't know. Do you macro it out? Do you try to get like a Nidus going or something? I can't answer that question. I think rogue. Honestly, that mainling bust should have killed or at least done critical damage. Like, but it just didn't. Is the simple version. So. Ooh, a gas before pool. This is not an early pool, but this is definitely could be dangerous on a rogue. He's going for the speed first into hatch strat here. I mean, he'll probably have a hatch, but speed will be the first target. Unless he takes a second gas, it's some sort of crazy roach timing that I don't know about. But this should be Zergling speed and do his best to delay the command center. On the other side, Maru is sticking with his, well, I would say sticking with his guns, but last game he proxy racked, so Maru, that's kind of, Maru is one of those Terran players, and there are players of every race. I would name SOS, I would name Rogue as another one of those players, but their specialty is winning. It doesn't matter what the situation is. They'll just pull out some ridiculous, well, not ridiculous, but just some crazy, risky build. They'll gamble it all. And they'll go for it. In last game, Maru, it's a big gamble to go for the proxy racks, but if it pays off, you're way ahead. So Maru is one of those as Terran, who, if he thinks the way to win a series is proxy raxing every game, because by the third proxy racks, they won't expect you to proxy racks again, then he'll do it. Like, he is not shy. Sometimes he gets a little too crazy. One of the big ways Maru loses games is he's like, I'm ahead. So let's load everything into like 7 medevacs and drop the main, and all the medevacs die, and he's no longer ahead. So that is a double-edged sword. For sure. But we're going into game 3. This pool first, not gonna really do damage. It's also partially, if Maru proxy raxed again, it would shut it down. You'd have Zergling speed by the time the bunkers were really coming into force. You'd have enough Zerglings to deal with it. Ooh, a delay on this. Some more Zerglings coming up. If he can actually delay the command center, that's really nice. Forces SCVs off the line, gets a kill. It's not huge, but it's not nothing. Saves one of the SCVs in the command center. That is something you don't see every day. Overlord speed again out of Rogue. The reason we didn't see it last game was because there were 2 barracks outside his base. So we knew what the build was. But I like that he's going for that safety play. Just making sure he has options for vision and for scouting, even if a Viking comes out. Now, once again, Maru not going for a Viking. He is going for the 1-1-1, the Destiny Cloud Fist build. But a Raven is the choice early on. It does look like it will be Bile behind. We should see Stim started in a moment. Of course, as he has all that gas. This is really, this is a very map control oriented build. The Raven, he has the option of auto turret, but it also gives him detection to shut down creep spread. So the Raven has kind of found a place. It's still a bit of a niche unit, or niche, or however you say that word. Take your pick and argue with me about it in the comments below. But it has seen, especially since the addition of the anti-armor missile, and the re-addition of the auto turret, it definitely finds its place in pretty much every matchup, to be honest. Will he add the auto turret on here? Does he feel like he has enough damage? Drop down, but the Zergling's going to force it. That's still a lot of Hellions. Some Zerglings going down. The auto turret does not have low DPS. That is the high energy queen that has a transfuse. It throws it onto another one. Maru actually going pretty deep in the paint. Using that Reaper as well. I mean, trading out these Hellions. Hellions are not going to be part of the army later on. He's going to be looking towards Bio. There's a handful of Roaches coming out. He's got a lair on the way. Pretty quick lair out of Rogue, if I might mention. And the scouting of the Roaches might prompt a bunker or two. Because Maru doesn't know exactly how many Roaches this is. It could be like 12 Roaches. One bunker. Is there going to be... These, there should be a little bit of flipperino here. Between the factory onto the tech lab and the barracks onto the reactor is how it's going to work out. But there are a lot of... There are Roaches coming across. 7, in fact. But he's not going to commit to it. Yeah, there you go. The Liberator going to give a somewhat less than 1 fucks. And just siege up under the Queen. We'll just kind of fly away because it does not care. The Overseer, with speed, going to come in. Confirm there's Bio. Confirm the production timings. Which means there's a little bit more time. He starts his upgrades. Will we see a Hydralisk Den or an Infestation Pit? Or are we going to continue on the Roach Ravager? Because when that production's coming online, there's still a little bit of time before the medevacs come out. And there isn't a need for too many units here out of Rogue. 67 drones. Okay, units. Let's go. But yeah, if there were a time. 67 drones, 4 going on 5 hatcheries with a macro hatch in the main. He does need units. He's gotten a nice, healthy economy here. Looks like this Liberator, not going to do that much. Hopefully the Raven doesn't go down as well. But this is quite a nice economy. And Maru has, to an extent, taken his time macroing up. The upgrades are at a pretty nice time. He's got the armory on the way. But the thing is, Rogue already has the 4th online. And unlike in game number 1, where the drops were all over the place getting damage done, I don't really see these double... I mean, there's nothing to kill the medevacs, but there's enough Roaches he can be pushed away on multiple fronts. So right now, Rogue with a solid defense across the board. A scan will reveal the Roach's position. He's going to try to come into the main, but there are Roaches here too. Rogue with the preemptive deflection. And Maru, since he went for this 1-1-1 build, he doesn't have that many medevacs early. There's a counterattack into the 3rd. How many drones will he get? 4? 7? 7 drones. Those Hellions aren't very useful against Roaches later on, so... The double drop going to come in, try to pick off anything it can get. Some damage laid onto the hatchery, but that's about it so far. The +2 has begun. 14 Ravagers on the way. Rogue is looking to get damage done. He's not waiting around. We're not going to Hive. We're not macroing it out. He's got 60. Well, wait, okay. Was I reading this wrong? No. It's 57 drones. He doesn't care. He's going. There are not that many in the way of tanks. In fact, there are only... Okay, there are 3. I'm not there. The 3rd just finished. That is so many Ravagers here. Just barreling down towards the front. Corrosive Bile will knock down one of the tanks. Another one is vulnerable. The boys will have to be pulled. But he's boxed in up against his own wall. An anti-armor missile comes through, but you actually have to hit those units with units in order for that to matter. More Corrosive Biles will zone back, even some of his own Roaches feeling the brunt of it. But Rogue is pushing back. Maru is up 50 supply. That's a little bit misleading because of how Roaches and Ravagers work. That command center is going to pretend it never existed. More boys are off the line. 22 SCVs have gone down. Ravagers just shooting all across the board. He targets down the factory. That's never happening. The 3rd base will be forced to be lifted. A lot of supply depots are vulnerable. Maru going to try to save it, but does he have the numbers? Corrosive Biles connect on some of the units. Will force the rest back. There's simply too many Ravagers, and Rogue fights back, taking game number 3. Honestly, it kind of felt like Maru underestimated. He just let Rogue It just felt like he let Rogue go. I don't really know what went wrong for Maru there. He kind of traded out his Hellions, and then his build lets Rogue get a 4th base up pretty safely. So if you let Rogue get a 4th base up and you're just getting your 3rd, you just kind of slammed it. Like, don't let him get a 4th. Like, every game so far, the games that Maru has won, Rogue's 4th base has been hotly contested or didn't even get close to it. Of course, there was a game with a proxy rack, so but we'll go into game 4. But a good return game there for Rogue. Like I said, like I was saying at the beginning of that last game, both these players are players that, if they see an opportunity to just win the game, they'll take it. There's always a time for when you're ahead, get more ahead. But Rogue said, okay, you're trying to drop me, and I have 4 bases up and a bunch of roaches. Let's just go. And solid execution. He just hit before Maru had that critical mass of tanks, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs, and killed him. There's not too much more to say off of that, but we'll see if Maru switches it up, goes back to maybe the 2-1-1 type of play. But Maru with a barracks in his base, and Rogue with a hatch first one on East Watch, which is about the largest map in the pool. Neon Violet Square is very defensive, but it's not that large overall. It's a large map, but East Watch it's got 20-something bases. The rush distance is insane. The choke points all throughout the map make a lot of choke points and bushes and rocks and all of that. It's I think the easiest way to say is it's just a whole deal. Like, but nothing out of the ordinary here. Yeah. We've got the 1 Rax expand out of Maru. We've got the hatch first. Hatch, gas, and pool in that order out of Rogue. And this is the textbook right here. This is what you do if you can't come up with a build or something special. And I'm not surprised because, once again, of the rush distance between these two players. We do have the Reaper coming out. The Overlords will see it. Now, Maru can definitely go toe-to-toe. We saw in Game 1, Maru can go toe-to-toe with Rogue in a macro game. Maru really shines. He's good, like many of the top Terrans are good, at army control, at micro and all of that. But Maru really shines when he's got some multitasking to do. When he's got 2 drops to the left, he's got 1 drop to the right, and an attack going up the center. He just, those little things that he does with each drop, microing each Marine in and out, those become kind of his signature. And then, of course, you have the big moves like, I'm just going to drop 6 medevacs in the main because I don't care. Well, we'll have to see. Got a 3-minute, 3:15 third base out of Rogue. A little on the later side, but definitely not late. Whereas it does appear Maru is opting for just your stand. He's actually getting a Viking this time, so no early aggression, no pressure. He's just gonna take out as many Overlords as possible and clear the way. He's actually showing Cloak. Now here's the question. A Tech Lab starport could literally be anything. You have no idea what's coming out of there besides probably a Viking. What? Does he actually make a Banshee, or is this going to be a Liberator? Liberator. Because it's probably the most ambiguous thing in the game is what's actually coming out of that Tech Lab starport. Every single unit is on the table. Could be a Raven, a Viking, a Liberator, or a Banshee. You never know. Even if Cloak is on the way, he'll immediately cancel it because he doesn't need that. He wants that gas and minerals back. Is this a Nidus network? We have a lot of gas, a Roach Warren on the way, several queens. He's pushed him back. He's taken the third. But Rogue is making units behind this. He's got a Roach Warren. This has to be a Nidus. He's got so much gas. There it is. Okay, so it's a Nidus. I mean, the thing is, Maru was doing a very conservative build. No, I take that back. That doesn't explain it correctly. He's doing a very greedy build. Well, very greedy in the sense he's got a third command center before additional production. He doesn't have any tanks on the way. His production, he's in limbo right now. He's not building anything. He's gonna barely have any. He has one liberate. He has a single-digit number of units. The Lings get in. That's not a wall. He screwed up the wall. Maru, stop taking notes from me. There's a Nidus in the main as well, directly in the main. Maru's already hurting. The supply depots could go down. A tank is on the way. There's only Hellions to deal with this. The queens are gonna pop out first. He doesn't even need the transfuses. Surprise! A creep tuber's on the way. There are no units. He doesn't have any units. Is he just dead? Maru's made miracles happen before. But 1 second, the tank. 1 second. Well, he just died. Well. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to cheese. Well, just like that, we're at match point. 2-2. Okay. So, a pretty quick series overall. 2 quick games, 2 medium-length games. Nothing. Actually, game 1 was the longest so far. But the final match, one way or another, is going to be on Backwater. This is the round. This is the semifinals. The winner of this goes on to the finals of IEM Katowice, which I'll try to get that series casted and up. Now, with casting, I'm not trying to overdo the casters of the event. Like, these are the replays from IEM Katowice. I try to add a little bit of extra insight. I like being. It makes me feel more like I'm invested in the match if I'm casting it. So I'm not trying to say the casters didn't do a great job. They did at IEM, of course. But it's just more exciting for me to be in the match myself, be able to look at what the players are doing and try to think, like, what would I be doing here? What could I, what did they do wrong, do right, and how should I learn how to play StarCraft? So that's always important. I'm trying to get good, if you will. Where are you going? Is he scouting, or is he actually going to expand there? Okay, he's scouting for a proxy hedge. That's actually a build. I'll proxy hatch at the 3rd. Some Zergs will dabble in it, but this is game 5 of a best of 5, so do the math. A pool first out of Rogue, but with no gas to follow it up. He's got 6 Mings on the way. No SCV scout from Maru makes this a little awkward. Oh, beautiful dodge there. He saw the Reaper with the original Overlord, knew he had to dodge. And Rogue already off to a good start. 1 Marine is not going to save you. Going for 6 Lings early on. This is really bad. Like, He may not save this. Oh, okay. All right, he's taking this very seriously. 9, 10 of the boys are pulled. Some will go down. 2 SCVs so far. Good micro from Maru, but the mining time lost is going to slow down his build pretty incredibly. Okay. And behind this Rogue, he doesn't have speed on the way. He's already got a third base nearly done. That's the word. So, a nicely good moves out of Rogue early on. He's taking advantage of the fact that Maru, when he's going for a Reaper, he rarely SCV scouts. He wants those few extra minerals. In this case, he was able to abuse that. Maru, once again, it looks like he's going for... Oh, I take it back. We've got a medevac on the way. It's going to be a Hellion drop. How did this Reaper... The Reaper can slip around back here. There's a little Reaper step. But it does look like a Hellion drop is the choice. Will he try to dodge the Overlords? Now the question is also, what's going to be the follow-up? Oh, are we going mech? I would love to see that. It looks like he's going to switch it up here. He's already got 2 Hellions inside. He's going to try to dodge some of these Overlords. He will do so successfully. Raven? If this is a Raven, I think we're going mech. Oh, but there's another tech lab on the way. I want to see... Where's my mech? Mech it happen! But, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the choice, unfortunately. Maru, never been a huge fan of mech. He really likes to be able to micro his Marines and Marauders, and he's incredibly good at it. I was hoping. I had a dream, but my dreams were dashed. The drop in the main base. Is there an There is no armory to follow it up. These aren't going to be Hellbats. The Hellion's trying to come in. Immediately roasting one drone, but that's it. Speed is now Rogue. Remember, he didn't go for speed early. One of the Hellions is going to be caught. He is going for speed now, but it's not done yet. We've got more Hellions coming in. He's actually getting a lot more damage done. A nice line up there. Oh, almost able to get another shot off, potentially killing 3 or 4 more. But overall, 7 drones for 2 or 3 Hellions. It's okay. He gets a beat on how many queens are invested in. I think he might have seen the Roach Warren. I'm not sure. Wait, was the Roach Warren canceled? There was a Roach Warren on the way. He canceled the Warren, probably because the Overlord scouted this is going to be bio. The Overlord gets in, sees that Stim is researching, sees there are no more Hellions on the way, gets the cancel, enough money, and the drone back. So, Rogue is going to commit to that Lingbane style. The Liberator in the main, sieging up, but the Spore Crawler, seconds from completion. 1 queen will be shot down, no transfuses quite in time. But the Hellion shut down at the front, and Rogue, I think I can say comfortably, after killing all of these, has taken a pretty comfortable position in this match. The medevac barely makes it out. There is a Raven, but Maru's production is quite late. Now, a couple good things for Maru. The lair here for Rogue is pretty late, and this map is incredibly difficult to attack in on the ground. Maru essentially gets 3 bases unless Rogue is willing to all-in him. There'll be 1 bunker at the back, but a few siege tanks, and there's really no way out. This 1 choke point keeps all these bases safe. Maru should be adding on some more production very soon as well. But at the same time, Rogue is pretty comfortably taking a 4th base and a 5th hatch in the main. So, despite having this safety and having a pretty good economy, Maru's still in kind of the uncomfortable place of letting Rogue get a 4th that he can't contest easily. He's going to match it with his own 4th base, but where is the production, Maru? He's only got 3 barracks. It's time to add on more. And Rogue, going for the Spire. I love it. If he has that much of he has that much creep, he has that much map control, the Spire can compound that. And once again, it's so hard to attack on the ground. This is a map where mutas can become very useful. The same is true for Terran. Trying to get into these bases, if you can't drop because of mutas, it becomes a lot easier to engage out on the map for the Zerg player. A scan comes out. We'll see Baneling speed on the way, but the Spire is hidden at the 3rd. Now more barracks are being added on. I would argue kind of late out of Maru. Which means his overall unit count going to be quite low. The splash damage of the anti-armor missile actually can kill Banelings, fun fact. So we'll see if he tries to use that. The armory is on the way. We should see 2-2 kicked off immediately. A scan comes out, still does not get a bead on the Spire. Rogue dodges it by building it at the 3rd. Overlord speed out the way. I like that. On the way. I like that. Just having it for the later game. It's one of those quality of life upgrades you don't always see players get. Another one is Burrow. Of course, we're not at the point where he's banking a ton of money. He's sinking it into Mutas. That'll be helpful for Overseers and the like. Maru is making another factory. I don't think he's realized this is Mutas yet. Whoop. A few of those Marines left behind. Most of them get out in the medevacs. But Rogue is just taking everything right now. He's going on 5 bases, 6 hatcheries. Muta's on the way. Infestation pick coming up. 2-2 ahead of Maru by about a minute. Maru doesn't know the danger he's in. He's adding on. I think he caught a glimpse of some Mutas. He's getting some turrets. But unfortunately, the Mutas are already here. This is going to get dicey. The Marines will push away. Not going to be a huge blow. But anything that keeps Maru off the map right now is great for Rogue. He's going to have a hive on the way. He's getting Burrow. He's getting +1 flyer attack. 2-2 is nearing completion. Creep spread halfway across. Maru at 2 Thors in production. There's still going to be a very dangerous timing for Maru. He's going to be maxing out pretty soon with even upgrades. And the thing about Mutas is once you have Thors, they're no longer a fighting unit. 2 or 3 Thors just mean you can no longer really do damage with the Mutas. Unfortunately, the additional production going to get shut down now. Thank you. I don't know. Got Maru. His production going to be shut down. He's got 4 bases, which means he needs to be able to spend his extra money. Did he scan the hive recently? No, but he knows that's exactly where he's going. There's a Ghost Academy on the way. There are 3 in the way of Rex, but I'm not sure what he just hit with the anti-armor missile. Oh, the Mutas! I am a fool. But the Thor shots do insane damage to Mutas without armor. With negative armor, in fact. Alright, well now's the time for Maru to go. He's got to pick up, he's got to go. 49 Banelings on the way. Maru has to move out soon. He knows Hive Tech is going to kick in. But that's so many Banelings. He has no Widow Mines. Is he just going to go straight up to Liberator Ghost? This being sent out. Rogue with 97 against 96 army supply. If the Thors can potentially soak the Banelings, maybe. But Rogue is actually coming in. He's just going for it. A massive anti-armor hit, though. The Banelings are trickling in. It looks like Maru's being overrun, but he still has a lot of supply. Another anti-armor hit doing damage. Oh, God. 20, 30 SCVs going down. And he's not done yet. 90 to 43 workers. The Banelings being traded out. The drop had to come back to save some of them. 41 SCVs. Mineral lines being gutted. I thought Maru might have a good defensive position. But Rogue just rolled right through. 45 to 90 workers. Which means Maru's army supply is intensely large compared to that of Rogue. But he has very limited time to try to use that advantage. Does he sit back and just try to max out? I mean, he might have been done a favor. Rogue with... It's not a knockout blow, but... Oh, it hurts. It hurts bad. Ling's continuing to run by. There's nothing to protect his bases. There goes an orbital. Another base being taken down. He's targeting the turret first. Oh, adrenal glands is done. Rogue isn't stopping. 44 more lanes. Another round of banelings. Rogue is... This is full Zerg right here. Maru just doesn't seem to have an answer. He's still got the army supply. 3-3 is nearly done. He needs that for this next fight. This is not where you want to be. The Greater Spire isn't done, but the Corruptor is still very useful on their own. 3-3, just 10-12 seconds away. An anti-armor missile connects on almost everything. He might be able to stand his ground with that. He's going to be forced to pull back. The Corruptors are working their way through. There's still one freedom zone. Maru is dipping. GG, that's it. Rogue finishes him with a second or third wave. I don't know what you call that. But Rogue completes the reverse sweep down 2-0, takes 3 in a row, and brings himself into the finals. He just refused to stop. That was... Now, another thing is Maru was really looking for that lair tech. He scanned the lair. He scanned the net. He really wanted to know the tech. But then the mutas kind of caught him off guard. The mutas didn't do much, but they kept Maru at home during that key timing. Like when 2-2 is finishing, is when you want to move out on the map. So Maru thought he was dealing with like Hydras or a quick hive. And then the mutas show up, and Maru kind of floundered around for about a minute. And that was enough time for Rogue to get, what does he have, 90 drones now? So many bases. It seemed like I wouldn't say a completely different Rogue, but Maru just didn't have any idea what he wanted to do there. The mutas definitely kind of threw a wrench in things, even if they didn't really do much damage. So that, I mean, an impressive series from Rogue. There's no other way to describe it. Coming back from 2-0 is always coming down from any deficit, but 2-0 is very difficult. Almost no one's done 3-0 in the history of like top tier tournaments. Oh my god, so loud. GG, and now while